And here we go, second to final Friday of the season here at Gulfstream Park West on a partly cloudy afternoon. What a difference a day makes, however, looking at that live shot of the racing conditions here in Miami Gardens. Yesterday we had some heavy rain off and on throughout the Thursday program. Things obviously have cleared up, and as a result, of course, no turf racing, but the main track upgraded to fast and harrowed as we set sail for an 8-race Friday. Ronnie and Jason joining all of you from our clubhouse studios here at Gulfstream Park West. And getting down to the nitty-gritty, my friend Ronnie, we have 7, including today. No, 8 full cards, including today, remaining.
Yeah, well, basically this weekend and then next weekend and, next week. And then we're done here at Gulfstream Park West. And we're getting ready for opening day on the 29th, I believe it is.
No, Friday, November 29th, the day after Thanksgiving. I mean, Thanksgiving is now 13 days away, which is bananas. But again, we are quite smack dab on that 2-week mark from the opening day program over at Gulfstream Park for the championship meet. $20 million plus worth of renovations over at the big track in Hallandale Beach, and we don't miss a beat right off the bat. Obviously, opening day is a big newsworthy item and a feel-good type thing just because it's day number 1, but you dive right into that first Saturday program on November 30th. You've got a half a dozen 2-year-old stakes, and those races always come up great.
Yeah, they're fantastic, and we'll get to see everybody back in town, starting all the trainers, owners, everybody, jockeys coming into town, and it's a great time of the year, especially if you love horse racing.
And the mystery, again, as this meet continues to unfold in the latter stages, we wonder, will this Jackpot Rainbow Pick 6 carryover essentially? I'm talking not a single ticket payout. Will it continue over the last 8 cards? We'll see what shakes out. Obviously, throughout this 8-race, main track fast Friday afternoon with about 800,000, give or take, in the kitty. Worth noting, however, a nice super high 5 carryover from Thursday.
Yeah, race 1, $4,700, and that's in race number 1. And we got 7 runners in the field, so it's a great time to play the super high 5. Got an even money favorite early in the wagering right now. Maybe you single a horse like that, and you can take down a nice chunk of change. They will send it in with that bet.
Now, I didn't single Reggae Revolution, but I do have this first time starting filly by Revolutionary as one of 2 in my opening leg of today's early pick 5. Pretty modest play of just $12 with the off-the-turf conditions. I like the 5 St. Louis Arch, who I like the speed in the second time out, and will expound upon that race as a whole in just a few seconds. Peter Walder and Shamir Mirage have hands down the big 2 in the second race. I just don't see any real options outside the one She's Right Again. I know Ronnie likes the 6 horse Bright Side of the Road on the main track. Third race is a tricky affair. I'm curious. So you're 742. You used the same 3 that I have.
Yeah, I did, and I used those in my Rainbow 6, which we'll show in a little while.
You like Saniva, who I singled in the 4th, Ronnie. That does comfort me a bit. It's now or never for her, quite
Right.
frankly, against that field. And then the cash-out leg, I could make the case if I was playing multiple tickets or wanted another single or single somewhere else as opposed to Saniva. Love Tree to me, today's go time with Paco.
Yeah, that's my single in my Rainbow 6
like that
ticket.
horse,
Yeah,
yeah.
I wanted to go deeper in the races that were taken off the turf, so I singled Love Tree in there.
Now, so many talented young first-crop stallions are around, not only here in South Florida, mainly Ocala, but in Kentucky as well. And I think Revolutionary has done a good job this season, and he's got one in the mix in the 1 Reggae Revolution, who let's just dive right into the heavy favorite, at least as far as the early betting is concerned. We've got to backtrack. This is a handful of works back in the middle of October, but still worth pointing out and showing this David Fox-trained filly, who you would think, with the fact that she's by an unproven stallion Revolutionary, Grand Slam Dam, cost just $10K as a yearling. David in this case, probably just has a horse properly spotted debuting for the maiden 50. She has made the 8-mile trek west in the van ride across town from Gulfstream Park, her home base, and she'll have Sammy Camacho in the irons. What's the stat you have here? Because I often think, Ronnie, David Fox is so good second out, but I think the stat, in a way, shows he's just as dangerous with the first-time starter.
Yeah, he's with his 2-year-old first-time starters. Now, these are maiden claimers, which this horse is on the dirt. He's 6 for 28, 21%, 54% in the money, 213 is return of investment. So when you see it on paper, it's not that bad with first-time starters. Now, under maiden claiming, I don't know, but I didn't look up maiden special weight, but that's not the case this afternoon anyway.
Well, that to me says, okay, so you're dealing with the horse who's probably very well prepared, obviously, and has been well cared for. I mean, that goes goes almost without saying. You've also got a horse when it comes to maiden claiming that clearly he's got an eye just properly spotting his stock and not running them over their heads when they belong in a maiden claiming race. So you'd like to think all that stuff melds quite nicely for the 1 Reggae Revolution. You're next door with the 2 Sayonara Baby, who's 0 for 2, but did improve in that second start.
Yeah, stepping up a notch after taking that positive step forward when finishing that improved third against the 25 maidens. At the distance last time out, the trainers Ramon Meunier, and he's got Marcos Meneses named to ride. Reggae Revolution's got to be on your ticket. And the number 5, who you like on top, St. Louis Arch, is turning back today to 5.5.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of that, but I do like the speed. I like the second-time starter angle. And, okay, so this horse lost by a baker's dozen and change first out. I feel as though if we were to go back to the early show on October 17th with that first race, I probably would have said I felt and feel as though that Florida-bred maiden 35 came up as tough as it possibly could. I think that's a good field this filly's coming out of. And I like Bisaichi, who beat her by a paw. I like her coming back later today in the 6th.
Yeah, she was going to try the turf, but that's not going to happen this afternoon.
Moving on to the second here. No turf, obviously, and that is very much a part of the discussion here, looking at this now 5-horse field on the main track, going 2 turns and a mile and a 16th, and it basically comes down to the one She's Right Again, who I think it's probably obvious has the best overall recent form as opposed to the 4 she's going to face. It's either her or perhaps the 6 Bright Side of the Road, who's been more of a turf horse, who's 0 for 3 combined on the dirt.
Yeah, this one wheeling back and trying the main track. She went up, she set the pace last time out. She got caught late at the 8th pole when finishing third against those condition claimers. Alp is on the turf. Shamir Mirage keeps this horse in. Edgar Zayas in the saddle. And Peter Walder, who's got your top pick in this, She's Right Again, had 2 in the race, and he took out Aquemini and left this one in. So I think he thinks this one can run on the turf.
Or on the dirt.
Excuse me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Much like Bright Side of the Road, she's a combined 0 for 3 on the main track throughout her career. Obviously, she's a better turf horse. They both are. You just hope, because they're going to be the big 2, you just have your fingers crossed if you're playing the multis. And like Ronnie and I, you're 1-6, 6-1 in the second. We'll take a little breather. We'll hit the road with the Stronach 5. Couple of key carryovers coming up as we continue after this. PegasusWorldCup.com, the big day, of course, Saturday, January 25th, the Super Bowl, if I'm not mistaken. Also, maybe not that weekend, but down in Miami for 2020, right?
Yeah, I believe it's the next week. Yeah, so it's going to be a wild time in South Florida. Every time the Super Bowl comes, you see people walking around at Gulfstream with every kind of football jersey you could think of on. So always makes it very exciting here. And one of the greatest cities to have the Super Bowl, because we got the great weather.
Absolutely. Have you ever been to a local Super Bowl?
Yes.
I had a feeling, yeah.
Yeah, Super Bowl 10, and long time ago. And I remember I went to friends of mine, and the tickets, I think, were like $15 or $20.
Right.
Now they're like $5,000 for a seat. So, yeah, long time ago at the Orange Bowl. It was so much fun to watch. I think it was Dallas against, I forget, Dallas against somebody. It was so long ago, and it was a lot of fun. All I remember, the guy had one of those air horns that were new right behind my ear the whole time. And that was a new invention, and I wanted to but it was fun.
He's got away with the story, doesn't he, folks? You can really weave a tale. Let's move on to the Stronach 5, buddy boy. Glad, and I just had this sneaking suspicion you had been to a Super Bowl in the past down here. Anyway, how does this sound? I'll tell you what, you take down today's Stronach 5, you can buy me a ticket to the Super Bowl in 2020. 91,000 plus the carryover. We've already eclipsed that. They bet about 10,000, I guess, in fresh money. I had noticed the ticker right before we sent it to break, and we get, for a change, which is kind of nice, we have the opening honors, Ronnie. We've got the 6th race as the launching pad in today's Stronach 5.
Yeah, we have, of course, our races today. Both race 6 and race 8 have been taken off the turf, so you have to handicap for the main track. I love the horse on there on the main track, but I mean on the turf, but that's a different
I got
story.
excited. I said, who is it?
No, so now I've redone my ticket, of course, with main track selections. You had a couple from Laurel and AC. I went 3, 5, and 12, and they're one of the horses that I know you like, Bisiace, the number 3. I used Lucky My Lady and the outside horse who was entered to 12 for the main track only. 2 deep at Laurel, the 1 and the 3. I think those are the logical ones. And then back at Laurel again with the 3 and 10. Then at my favorite place, Golden Gate, 3 deep with the 1, 2, and 8. And our last race, I went with Animal Trick and Could Be. Animal Trick, I think, is the one to beat. It's going to be the speed in there.
I think Animal Trick. Again, Could Be's the other horse, and I've got the same 2 you have to close things out. My play, because I do have Bisaichi singled in the opening leg, that obviously gave me a little more wiggle room, made the ticket a little cheaper, and had some wiggle room, obviously, in the 9th race at Laurel, which gave me fits. And I just said, you know, I feel more confident in Bisaichi as opposed to maybe trimming one of the 4 that I used at Laurel in the 9th. I'd rather have a big spread there and hopefully just stand alone with the horse. I'm pretty confident locally that I think will run a good race. But boy, Animal Trick in the last leg of this Stronach 5. Could Be's the other horse, but I mean, if I told you now Animal Trick's 3 to 5 or 4 to 5, right? I mean, I think that horse is probably odds on.
Yeah, there's 5 horses in the field with the scratch. He's got tons of speed. Now he's facing cheaper, but he's been running on the main track. Up north, he was facing cheaper. I just think he has the perfect pace scenario just to go to the front and not look back. And, of course, trained by Jorge Navarro.
Yeah, picked up 2 wins here yesterday, including a first off the claim of victory in the Thursday 7th, a horse that paid close to $20. I was a little annoyed. I missed out on that horse off the claim for Jorge, and one of 3 bug riders. That was kind of a neat and maybe forgotten story yesterday. You had 3 apprentice riders not named Christian Torres getting a W here. Now, Christian very much in the mix as he looks to win his first ever South Florida riding title. And just looking at some of the names, Ronnie, in the opening leg of today's Rainbow Six, you've got a Misael on the 4. Edgar Zayas rides the 1, Bling Seeker. And I'm wondering if you're 3 deep here to start the Rainbow.
I am the same 3 horses that you used with the 2, 4, and 7. I thought those were the logical ones in there, and that's Cat Gone Quick, Fast Loaded, and Alaskan. And then 2 deep with Suniva and Bitcoin Queen, who had like a 10-length lead last time out and gave it up. So I figure speed. There's my single, as we mentioned a little earlier, Love Tree. I wanted to go 4 deep in race number 6 here. That's one of the races here, the first leg of the Rainbow Six that I went 4 deep. I thought that was wide open in there. You like Versace. I just wanted to get some coverage. 2 deep with Small Fortune and Native Hawk in race number 7, and 8 Animal Trick. The 9 Could Be, and I added the number 10 Got Some Mojo. It was a late striding type of things collapse. I wanted to be covered, so I need the 7 horse in the 5th to help me out.
Yeah, you need Peter Walder for sure. I need him in the 2nd. He's favored currently from the rail with She's Right Again, but Love Tree again, and we'll talk about his chances in a few seconds. It looks like a great spot for him with Paco getting aboard. Things might not be as cut and dried, although clearly Ronnie and I have narrowed this upcoming 2-year-old $35,000 maiden claimer basically down to the 3 horses that, unless somebody takes any wacky money, you would think we're basically in agreement here concerning the top 3 wagering choices. And obviously we agreed as well with our top selection, the number 7 Cat Gone Quick. I like the speed of this horse from the outside.
Yeah, you know, it's turning back to 5.5 furlongs after breaking last time from a really tough outside post 10, setting the pace. We can finish 3rd against those state-bred runners going 3/4 mile. He's the controlling speed unless one of the first-time starters has designs on the lead. I just think he controls the pace in there. We have our 2nd and 3rd selections flip-flop, Fast Loaded, Gelded Son of Gone Astray. So keeping with our theme, let's see how Ralph Nix does with his 2-year-old first first-time starters, maiden claimers on the dirt. Now, he has a bigger sampling, but he's 9 for 39, 23%. He's really good, 46% of the money, and a positive return on investment of $2.76. So for almost the same type of stats that we showed a little earlier there, just a bigger sampling, and he does an excellent job.
And maybe this horse came over on the same van alongside Reggae Revolution, because both Ralph's horse, Fast Loaded, and Reggae Revolution are based over and live over in Hallandale Beach. Not the case with Kathleen O'Connell's firster, who does have Edgar, the one bling seeker down inside, who's got the local work tab here at Gulfstream Park West. Let's flip the page. An action-packed third race, considering we covered the Stronach 5 and the Jackpot Rainbow, and we do continue. Speaking of KO, she's got Suniva, who's going to be a big favorite here and has had some chances. I don't like that, but as far as landing on another horse and even doubling this $12 play, I just didn't see the reason to use another horse, because I think Suniva is finally in the right spot that is, in career start number 16. I am too deep in the fifth race. Again, Lovetree is way the horse to beat, but Hackleton interests me a little bit there as well. Sixth race has me also too deep. I use B. Saichi and Lucky Milady, who has Paco for Plisa. Seventh race, 3 deep in there. And that is a good race. And to be fair, Ronnie, I know we're off the turf today. In terms of a scheduled dirt race, losing Harry He, I think, has turned that pace situation maybe on its head, where I wound up switching to the 7 Take Charge Dude. In a way, I think he's now the horse to beat with no Harry He.
Yeah, there's other speed in there, and I thought the horse to beat when Harry He was in there was the 8 Native Hawk, who was the best closer in the field.
Sure.
But I kept Small Fortune's got to come bounce back from that performance last time out. And 8 and 9, like we talked, Animal Trick and Could Be. They look like the logical 2 on the ticket in your what is it, $12 ticket? Very affordable.
Yeah, very affordable. Again, I don't like that Suniva is winless in 15 starts, but fact that she's catching a very suspect field on the dirt going 7, I'm hoping in the end, with her picking up numerous minor awards, and despite being kind of a professional maiden, at least she's consistently shown up. The others they can't say that. I mean, you've got horses in here that have been either non-factors from the get-go or just very erratic and inconsistent.
Yeah, you know, Suniva back in Kathleen's barn, and it's sort of Spites Town stretching out to 7 on the dirt after ending a sprint campaign up north with a late closing third against those 20 maidens, going 5.5 on the Laurel turf. Christian Torres goes to the dirt. The only reason I used the 4, I was just curious that the 4 Bitcoin Queen is turning back to 7 furlongs on the dirt after opening and surrendering an early 10-length lead when fading to finish 5th, going a mile and 16th on the turf. I don't know where they were going with this horse, but I figure for a speed play, why I added it to the ticket. Am I sold on this horse?
Yeah.
Not at all.
No, I hear you. One word, speed.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what, in a compact field like this, with the favorite, that some may argue, look, you don't want Suniva here just because she's been such a bridesmaid. The speed may help the 4 Bitcoin Queen. We shall see in that Friday 4th race. We continue on a partly cloudy Friday, November 15th here at Gulfstream Park West, and discuss Peter Walder for the second time in a major way on this show, in this dated 6250 claimer for horses that have basically not won a race since Memorial Day weekend. And you've got speed between Pachanga Party and Mr. Joshua, and you've got Lovetree, who ran when I was in California, and although I didn't see the race, nor did I handicap it, to me, this horse with Jeffrey riding, and I get some of the guys may have been in California riding, but he didn't get bet last time, and I see him off a perhaps building block race, even for 6250 with Paco aboard, and I'm thinking we're probably getting the sign that Peter thinks Lovetree is going to run a lot better.
Yeah, you know, the big drop to that, you're talking about this as a dated claimer having won. That was a 6,250 open claimer. Has Paco Lopez, a 7-year-old of Silver Tree. You know, I also like French accent a little bit there, stretching out to 3/4 mile. After rallying, finished third behind Who, Hard Knocking, Little Meatball, and Fish Van, going 5.5 furlongs last time out. If I see them in the past performances in the dated claimer, I got to give this horse a second look.
Yeah, no, I was curious what price Lovetree was. He's 5-2. Jay made Mr. Joshua favored, who's definitely a factor here. I still, and you agree, Lovetree the horse to beat. We'll see again how Mr. Joshua runs. He's got speed, but he's been off his game, and I just worry Pachanga Party, who I like a little better than Mr. Joshua, Joshua, and you do too as well, the 4. He may just take the starch out of Mr. Joshua on the point.
Yeah, you know, Mr. Joshua, I think 9 to 5 on the morning line.
Yeah, he's 9 to 5, and Lovetree's 5 to 2.
I thought Lovetree would be in a better place there. Myself, before rain, scratches, whatever, I just thought Lovetree was the one to beat on paper.
I'm with you there, Ronnie. Let's move on to race number 6 this afternoon. Just looking at the Stronach 5, we've eclipsed that $100,000 mark with quite a bit of time, a few hours to go before that opening leg, which is, in fact, in race number 6 this afternoon at Gulfstream Park West. Now, you do have some numbers here. This race, for the most part, as it now goes at 7 on the dirt, these are 2-year-old fillies in this optional claimer. You've got 9 ready to rumble. I don't know otherwise, but I'm going to assume here that maybe Terry Pompey, sending out the 3 Bisaichi, probably had an eye on the forecast and said, look, we can take care of 2 birds with 1 stone and run her on the turf if need be, or if this race comes off, because she was so good first time out. And again, a field I felt as though came up as tough, if not tougher, than your average Florida-bred 35K maiden claimer on October 17th. We can run her just back on the dirt where maybe she's the horse to beat, and I think that's the case.
And you were right. Her last race, she dueled throughout in that race, and she just got beat she won by a nose. I mean, it was a game performance. Now she's got to do that at 7 furlongs. But Lucky My Lady is a daughter of It's My Lucky Day. And this is the horse I was alluding to that I loved on the grass today because of the angle that you told me. And it was 8 to 1 in the morning line. Stretching out around 7 furlongs after. Sort of inconsistent sprint campaign against Sundler on the main track. It's Eddie Plesa Jr. It's Paco Lopez named to ride. I think this might be a good spot for this horse here to run well.
It's a different race than, say, what was that, Wednesday second with Bosworthy. But I do think the 10 Rain is worth the mention. Her form, I get, is a little iffy, and the knee-jerk reaction might be, well, although she's kept the best company, she just can't win this race or is in tough just because her form has been so sour. But she reminds me of a Bosworthy, even though this race is a little different than a maiden affair, just because of CC Valentina, 260, tonalist shape. She's run against some really good fillies.
And that's what you look for in a race like this that's, you know, sort of fell apart with the move to the main track, even though we got, you know, a bunch of runners in there. And don't forget, this is the first leg of the Stronach 5. So you have to do your handicapping here because the race shape changed completely with the move to the main track.
Definitely, and race shape is where it's at. I mean, that was, as we flip the page and come up on Friday 7th on this no turf, day number 33, my friend. Wow. 33 of 40. But anyway, race shape really was at the forefront because when you come across, and he had an inside post, and my point being, he's on the first page. You saw Harry He. You said, all right, there's the speed. But as you worked your way outside, maybe the 6 Crisco Sky coming in from Kentucky shows some speed. But I felt as though Take Charge Dude, who's just been one of the many good claims for Safi Joseph on the season here on this circuit, I felt as though Harry He's presence would, in the end, probably adversely affect him. And it may ultimately take Harry He out of the race. With no Harry He, I'm hoping with Edgar riding Take Charge Dude, he just blasts off and beats everybody to the punch and wires the field.
Yeah, that's what he's going to try and do. Now, Small Fortune is wheeling back and expected to show more. He returned from about an 8-month layoff last time, and he went up and he chased the pace. He finished 5th behind very familiar competition at the distance last time. Georgina Baxter puts the apprentice Kristen Torres named on the right. My thought process is major step forward today. That was what I was thinking. So Small Fortune, but like I said, Native Hawk should see, before the scratch, was going to see almost the same pace scenario as this horse went to ran second last time in front of Small Fortune, came out of that race. He's the strongest finisher in the race, and it was stocked with speedy types. Now, with the scratch of that horse, you know,
could still get a fast pace. I don't totally disagree. I think there's a chance Take Charge Dude may be a little faster than the others in here, but again, it's not like Small Fortune can lay up close. Again, Cristo Sky is a little bit of a shipping wild card for Bob Hess Jr. can lay up close. We'll see, but I'm with you. It's funny, you know, Native Hawk beat your top pick, Small Fortune, last time. And you obviously gave the edge in the rematch to Small Fortune. I'm with you. I think he probably, in hindsight, just simply needed that last start off the bench.
And that was my thought. Even with the scratch, he was my top pick all along because I just thought he'd take a jump forward this afternoon.
All right, let's move on to race number 8. Very good 7th race. I had stopped on the backstretch this morning for a Florida Bred Friday video, and I had run into trainer Aubrey Mirage over by barn 21 or 22, and he said, I got one in today. I said, who is it again? He said, Jamal meteorologist there. I said, oh, that's a tough race, and he agreed wholeheartedly. Good hard-hitting field there on the dirt in the 7th. Anyway, we'll wrap things up. We're on the main track, naturally, with a field of 6 in the getaway race on this penultimate Friday of the meet. Mile to 16th on the dirt, and we've already mentioned Animal Trick, the 8, and could be the 9 a couple of different times. Animal Trick, unequivocally going to be a big favorite.
Yeah, makes his local return for George Navarro after showing speed and winning one of those 2 route races on the dirt up at Penn at Delaware. But he's the speed of the speed. And you got Could Be, who's dropping to the 8 level, got shuffled back. But I think if Animal Trick gets loose, now you're going to know after the first couple of races how the track is playing. You know, we've had rain over the last couple of days, even though it's fast. We'll see if his speed is good, which it usually is after a rainy day at Gulfstream Park West. I think this horse has a big shot.
Definitely. So 8-9 for the boys here as we wrap things up. And just looking at Omisael Jaramillo, who pilots Animal Trick, he was the riding star here yesterday. It was nice seeing 3 separate apprentice riders get a W, but make no mistake, Omisael picked up a hat trick on that Thursday card. He is tied for 2nd in the standings at 25. Christian Torres, a very tenuous 1-win lead, and we'll get things going, Ronnie Boy, with that first race at about 125.
Yeah, let's get it going.